My name is Dina Marabi. I am a business and body balance coach. And today I want to share something with you that if you're struggling with yo-yo dieting, struggling with emotional eating, stress eating, binge eating, and you feel that no matter what you try, you feel like you're always in a famine state, you end up eating everything that is around, you feel like you're a bottomless pit in terms of food, you are never full, and then you actually end up putting on more weight than you lost. And you'll be telling yourself that you're lacking willpower, you're lacking motivation, you didn't have the right system, you're waiting for that miracle pill, and you keep trying and trying and trying. And I'm sure you might actually be looking back and saying, oh my God, why did I even start this with the way that I was worried about? And right now you might be 50 or even 100 pounds more than where you started. This has nothing to do with lack of willpower. This has nothing to do that you didn't try hard enough. I know that you tried. And today I'm going to bring you some clarity to better understand why once you get on that yo-yo dieting roller coaster, it is actually harder off of it because you keep going on one diet after the next. So very often I talk that it's not about the food, okay? When you're struggling with binge eating, emotional eating, stress eating, it has nothing to do with the cake or the cookies or the chips. Honestly, these are just innocent bystanders in a certain way to the habit that you're going for. But it does have something to do with food or why you're always struggling and being on that yo-yo dieting. So the one thing that you have to be aware of, very often when you're doing a diet, when you're doing a plan, when you want to lose weight, when you want to start an online coaching business, if you want to go back to school, like any time that you have kind of like this goal, right? Because this is applicable to anybody who wants to reach a goal and that feels they're always doing the same New Year's resolution every month. They're trying back every Monday. They're back on track. Very often, whenever we're creating a goal, right, it's very mental. It's very mind-oriented. So let's look at weight loss because 85% of women actually has tried a diet. So let's talk about weight loss because this is going to be relating to many people. So we talk about weight loss, right? You're like, okay, I need to lose X number of weight. I want to lose it by 30 days, 60 days. So then you're very in the mind type of work, right? You buy a plan, you see a coach, you see a dietitian, they give you a plan. You're like, okay, I'm going to get this done. I want to lose the weight. I am done being at this weight. I'm done being tired. I'm done of being exhausted or hiding in baggy clothes. I want to start living my life and booking that dream vacation and being in a bathing suit and all that freedom that you're reaching. But what happens is that when you're always in a mind type of work, very often we are disconnected from our bodies. And this is one of the big shifts that I want you to take away today. So whenever you set yourself a goal, you're very in the mind, right? I'm going to get this done. I'm going to push through. I'm going to focus. I'm going to restrict this food. I'm going to say no to chips. I'm really going to make everything change. And once I lose the weight, then maybe I'm going to have those foods. A lot of people go through that because a lot of diets do that, right? They're like 6 days, you're really restricted, and then you have a cheat day, a free meal, and all that crazy nonsense because it's pretty much nonsense because they keep you in a dieting roller coaster. But when you think about when you're hustling, when you're pushing, when you're dieting, when you're working long hours, when you're stressing yourself out, you're burning yourself out for this one big goal, at one point, it's going to break, okay? And it's not because you're weak. It's not because you should have just stayed, it's going to like have that breakthrough on Monday. It's not because you had that one bite of a cookie and you just lost off track. At one point, you keep pushing, and your mind telling you, go, go, go. You're so in the mental energy of your goal that you are not actually tuning into what your body is telling you. Because no matter what you try to do, the number one thing that your body will always focus on, no matter what, no matter the wars and the famines and the business and the work-life balance and the kids that you have, the one thing it's always going to be focusing on is survival. Whenever you're putting your body in a high stress state, intense dieting, hustling in your business, working 2 jobs to maybe pay off a dream home that you're looking for. Whenever you're in that hustling type of energy and you're pushing, you're actually creating an inner stress that your body does not like because your body did not really evolve from thousands and thousands of years ago. Your body's purpose is it keeps everything functioning, it keeps everything good for you so that you can stay alive as long as possible. This is the amazing thing about the body. Like, you don't have to think about your heart beating and your lungs and your brain focusing. It just happens, right? It just does what it needs to do. But as soon as something is not okay, it will restructure. So if it's very cold outside, it's going to restructure. If it's very hot outside, it's going to restructure, right? There is an inner balance. Your system is going to try to shift things on the inside to make sure it can handle whatever stress you give it around. But if you're in a constant stress state, physical restriction, dieting is actually a stress state. Not sleeping is a stress state. Endless cups of coffee is a stress state. Sitting down all day. Right now we're talking like sitting is the new smoking is a stress state. Whenever you're putting your body in this stress state and it's constant, it's not one shot, it's the long term. So now there's a lot of chronic state happening. So your body is always in that stress level, and high stress equals something is going to be affecting your survival. It's like, this is not good, right? It's always running, trying to deal with this imaginary stress that you created with your mind, with these amazing goals that you have, but the way that you want to reach those goals. And what happens? At one point, it's going to break. At one point, the stress is too high. At one point, there is way too much anxiety. And what happens? For example, if you did a diet, you are so hungry, you have one bite, and you get off all track, right? You might tell yourself, I'm just going to have a little bit something, and then it feels like the flood of hunger just opened up, and you feel like you're a bottomless pit, right? And then it's weird because then you keep eating. It's like you can't stop. And you're like, oh, because I need to be stronger. I need to stop. No, it's your body's survival mechanism that jump-started, and it's like, oh my God, there's food. This is my chance to bring in whatever that person did to me. I need to make sure I do my reserves because I don't know when I'm going into famine state, because dieting is a famine, and famine is a stress state, and stress state, your body does not like to do that. Does not like to deal with that. Imagine a baby that you don't feed. Good luck. It's going to be cranky for a very long time. And that's what you're doing on a dieting basis when you're restricting foods in terms of wanting to lose the weight. Same thing with business. You want to start your online coaching business. You want to start your business, your career. You're hustling. You're doing those like 14-hour days, and you're sitting down and you're creating your land pages. You're doing all these things. You're not eating well. You're not moving. You're not sleeping. You're like, it's going to get there. I'm going to make that 6-figure business, and then I'm going to relax. But then what happens? You are overwhelmed. You are exhausted. You are stressed out, and then you crash. And very often we crash. We start overeating. We just put ourselves on Netflix. We quit everything that we did, and we are so burned out. We can't handle it anymore. Because when you pull the elastic too much, at one point it's going to break. When you're dieting, you're pulling the elastic, it's going to break. When you're hustling in your business, you're pulling the elastic, it's going to break. So imagine if we flip things around. Imagine if you're like, okay, I have a goal. My mind wants to do that. My personality wants to do that. But how can I go from shifting my body, making sure that this vessel is not in a stress state, so I'm actually able to stay focused and stay on track? Imagine if you followed a plan, a way of eating that you're like, I can do this for the rest of my life. You're never hungry. You're never full. You're not craving foods. You're able to lose the weight, and you're not pulling the elastic because you're not going to break it, because you're feeling balanced, because you are not putting your body in a survival famine state. Same thing with your business. You want to create that amazing business. Don't fall for those like create 6 figures in 30 days. There's people that it's the exception. It's not the rule. Okay? A lot of things that you hear out there is the exception. It's like hidden reality, maybe. And it's not the rule. So you're like, wow, do I want to really put my life on hold for 30 days and do this? Or how can I, why don't I give us like 6 months? Why don't I start slowly and gradually and make it increase? Why not go that route so I don't neglect my body? I take care of my body. I don't get my body in a stress state, because guess what? When you're stressed and you're anxious, you turn to food, you gain weight, and the whole vicious cycle starts again. So imagine if you focus from the inside out. You make sure on the inside everything is nice and zen, and guess what happens? When you are in a calm state and your body is like a baby and it's taken care of and it's fed, you're able to see things clearer. You're able to actually focus on the task at hand. I remember when I was starting my online coaching business, trust me, what I'm talking about, I went through it. it was like 10 hours of just focus, focus, focus. And you want to create it for like financial freedom and you want to feel great. But then you're like, I'm not feeling that great. I'm sitting all day trying to do a million and one things. And I'm not creating that business that I was hoping. And same thing with food. Same thing with wanting to lose weight. You're doing all that diet and the training and the meal prep and the protein shakes. And then you're just, you can't maintain that for the long term. Remember, you want to look at the long term. What can you do and maintain for the long term? No quick fixes. Because quick fixes equals quick failures because you're stressed, you're anxious, your body kicks in all these stress hormones, increases the food cravings, wants you just to sleep all day, is brain numbing, and you can't focus on the task in hand. So I talk a lot about, ending your binging, of creating your business, because very often, especially as women, there's so much stuff on our shoulders and we're trying to do it all and then we end up crashing. And I don't want you to crash. It's pretty much it. So the solution is actually from the inside out, and it's working with your body and not against it, creating this nice homeostasis, inner calm, Zen state. No cravings, no stress. You're able to sleep well. You're moving. You're eating well. There's something to do. There's a Facebook Live to do, or you have to go play with your kids, or you have to do something, and you're there, and you're excited, and you're focused. Life is so much better when you're actually living your life than feeling the life is passing you by because you're so focused on later on when I reach that goal, or later on when I do that 6-figure business, I'll be happy and I'll take time for me. Take the time now. This is where true change is. So I want you to take a step back. Think about your health. Think about your business. Think about your goals. Are you neglecting self-care? Did you put your body kind of on the back burner and saying you're going to take care of it once you reach X, Y, Z? But imagine you flip things around, especially when you talk about food and binge eating and stress eating. Imagine that you are eating, you're never hungry, you're never full, you're not craving foods, you're not on a diet, you just release the weight, and you never get off track. This is really the key. So remember, work with your body and not against it. The time is now. You just need to take that first step and get it done. So I hope this inspired you to start creating a shift on the way that you're seeing things. If ever there's anything I can help you with, you know how to do. You can reach out to me. And you can also go on my website if ever there's anything that in terms of business coaching, health coaching, because we are creating a lot of online coaching programs, helping people with their health, their business, their fitness, all the facets. Because I know you want to do a little bit of everything. You like that variety in your life. You want to be financially free. You want to create a body and a life that you love. And there's so many different ways of reaching it. So go check the website. And if you have any questions, do not hesitate to message me. Dina Merby here, Business and Body Balance Coach, and I'll catch you in the next training.